Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show. Entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to buy the property the same day the seller calls back.
Like the same phone call.
Same call would be perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. People lose interest. Time kills deals.
Mm-hmm.
Air quotes. Time kills deals.
Even for us.
Yeah, that's an original.
We have people that have lost deals, us buying them, because we got bored and moved on.
Yeah, because they're not responding fast enough or stuff just changes.
Mm-hmm.
Ask any person in sales.
Yep.
You just got to close right then.
If you can, you got it.
Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Gary asks, hello, land investors. Trying to nail down the best process for exchange of purchase funds and land ownership docs. When I sell properties, my buyers have been very hesitant and downright unwilling to send in the purchase price of the land without an escrow company because obviously they bring up the fact that I could take their money and not send them a warranty deed and transfer docs. I see their point, so I've been using the procedure listed below. What I've been doing as a replacement is sending the signed warranty deed, a notarized affidavit of value, or other notarized docs to a notary located in the buyer's area where they reside, and paying this notary price somewhere between $80 and $125 for this notary to schedule a time and a place to meet the buyer to exchange the funds and docs. The notary is required to take possession of the purchase funds in the form of a cashier's check or USPS money order, and then provide the transfer docs to the buyer and return the purchase funds to me within a FedEx prepared return envelope to my company address. Anyone feel like they have a better process or tweaks to this I should consider, I'm totally open and willing to consider any other better procedures. First of all, I gotta say, not a crazy workaround, and I get it, and I think I know why this is happening. Because he's not established. We never have to do this because of how many documents we've done, how many properties are available on our website, all that stuff. It's very easy for the people that are buying from us to go, oh boy, are they legit. You know, it's like when you start a brand new eBay account and you have only one closed transaction, yeah, people are not going to feel comfortable. Or you have 0 closed transactions. I totally understand that. But if you're looking at some seller's eBay account and you're one of 15,000, okay, now I don't worry about you. I know you're legitimate, you're established. I can see your rating, I can see your comments, I can see all of that good stuff. So I think that's what's going on. And I think that it's only going to take some time to get there. However, a couple things you can do ahead of time. Number one, put a lot of property on your website. I mean, and as soon as you're buying your property, put them up there, keep them up there. Mark them as sold, don't pull them down. So you only have like 3 available that show up. Maybe you've done trend transactions. Show the 8 that you've sold, and these are the 2 that are left. You know, maybe even consider doing a rating system or some kind of a system, a comment section on your website for your buyers. All those things are going to add credibility. Another thing is make sure your website links to your social media, links to you, links into your LinkedIn account, all of that good stuff to show that you, Gary, are a real person. You, even if this is your side business, but you work for ABC company over there, they can see that you're a real person. All of this is going to make everyone feel more at ease while you build up your credibility and your all of that.
I 100% concur.
Thank you.
Gary answered his own question here. Mm-hmm. I think that there's nothing wrong with closing deals the way that you described every single time. But I'll add this. If you took credit cards on your website and posted the property on your website the way that we do at LandStay, then none of this would be an issue at all. Because people are very used to just clicking on the credit card and then waiting for the package to arrive like Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. And then I think you're right because paying by credit card gives you some sense of security and out.
That's right.
Because most credit card companies will back you up if you say,
I never got the stuff.
I didn't get it. You know, I need to cancel the charge. And that's part of using a credit card.
The cool thing about what we do, well, it's cool for us. For criminals, it's not cool. There's a huge paper trail to real estate ownership. So, you know, let's say this just happened to one of our members. We the person purchased a $50,000 piece of property with their American Express card, and it immediately went out for recording, and everything was fine. Could that person have changed their mind and said, you know what, I'm going to do a chargeback here. I'm going to try to steal the property. He's already signed it over to me.
It's true.
It's only been 2 days. So if you've ever been through anything like this as a credit card, as an establishment who receives credit cards like we do and a lot of our members do, they go through a review process whenever this happens, and you can just very easily say, please take a look at who owns the property now.
Right.
It's not me, it's this person, so I made good on it.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win situation, I think, for everyone. It gives them a sense of stability, and it also gives you recourse if something goes sideways. I can count in the 16,000 deals we've done on one hand how many times we've had issues with this.
Right. And it's stuff that you can undo. If there are any crazy things, you can fix it.
Right.
So
today's topic: how to buy property the same day the seller calls and why it's important. This is the meat of the show. Jill, you had a perfect explanation before we started the show today of what this really means and why it's important. Why is it important so we send a bunch of mail out and a guy calls back and says, you know what, I would like to buy, I talked to my wife, we want to do the deal. Every year we have this conversation, so tell me what to do next. Mm-hmm. What do you say?
Well, if I can, I'm just going to make it happen right there. It's just too easy when he says, you know what, hi, I got your letter, I've been thinking about it, mulling it over for 2 weeks, and yes, we accept, kind of thing. While he's excited and you have him on the phone, he's interested, just get all the information in a perfect world, and you just get it done. Now, but here's a couple things. Number one, I know what mail has gone out. So when he calls me, right, I already have an idea. Well, not necessarily two, but let me back up here. Like right now I'm thinking of House Academy where I'm sending a bunch in the same area. So those I kind of know, and those are no-brainers. But for my Land Academy calls, they're coming in from years ago, so they're all over the country. So what am I doing while I'm on the phone with the guy? I'm asking him. He's like, hi, I got your letter. Great, where is it? I have a checklist. While I'm talking to him on the phone, I'm pulling up the property and looking at it.
Yeah.
So let's say, how do you do this? You don't just say okay and just blindly trust him. No. What I'm saying is you're on the phone with him for not long. You could do this in 10, 15 minutes. And while you're having the discussion with him, you're pulling it up on parcelfact.com.
My favorite thing to do, by the way.
You're looking at it. You're confirming the access. You're confirming the owner name.
Ownership, yeah.
Right, he's right there talking to you. The only questions that you really are going to have that you could still do a lot of the times right there real quick is the taxes. Are you current on your taxes? He says yes. Do I take his word for it? No. But seriously. So I'm like quickly jumping into the county website, checking it myself. I can be doing this all while I'm on the phone.
And you should be.
With the seller. So now I know this. And if you say you're not that fast, let's say you pull it up though, you just went straight to Parcel Fact, that's all you did. You confirm the ownership, you confirm the size, you confirm he's the right guy, you confirm it's got 3 of the 4 A's, maybe 4 of the 4 A's that you want to buy the property, and I'll explain that in a second. And the only thing you don't know is the tax situation. So you're going to ask him the tax situation, and then you're going to just at the end, assuming it's all correct, you are going to buy the property, and then you can hang up and double check the taxes later. And it's no big deal. Say you say, all right, Mr. Smith, you said you're current on the taxes. Yep, I will honor it. Let's talk about when you're going to be available.
That's what it comes down to, is availability.
I'll have my notary come to you. I'll pay for all that. That's part of the deal. I will have a cashier's check coming to you for $1,250, whatever it is that you guys agree on, and I'll pay for everything else. You said Tuesday? Okay, Tuesday between 4 and 6? Okay, I'll call you. I'll get a notary, and I'll either my team or the notary will reach out to you, confirm everything right before they come over.
Hopefully they're retired
and
or really available. And
that's all good, and we'll take care of everything else. Then you hang up the phone, and if you still need some few minutes, you can go double check the county website. Yep, he is current on his taxes. Everything checks out. Yep, I can get a notary at that time. Everything checks out. Just do all that work, basically. So you're all doing this like this title of this show all the same day. And
this is the Jill Show today.
It is my
I love this.
Well, because I'm the one that does this
You know,
work.
I'm so happy that this is beautiful. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this is my part of this, the what we do. So, anyway, the only reason you're calling the guy back is A, he lives so far away. The only notary is going to be out in that area once on Friday, so we need to confirm that's okay. Or B, he forgot he has an HOA and he owes $600, so we got to renegotiate. We need to kind of factor that in here. Or the taxes are way off, and he didn't realize his wife really didn't pay the last 4 years or something like that.
Or somebody's on the deed that there's some problem,
Yeah.
Somebody's on the deed that passed away. These things don't happen that often, and they're the exception, not the rule. But you got to check them out.
But that's the only reason, and you would still be figuring that out very quickly. And like, hi, Mr. Smith. I know we talked an hour ago, but just need to let you know a couple things that I found out. This is really what's going on. So I still do want your property, but now I want to do it at this. And it's all, and it's totally fair. It's all, I've never had anyone have a hard time over, oops, I forgot. Okay. Yes.
Then you have to go to the bank and get a cashier's check, which I have despised my whole career.
Isn't that so silly?
Yep.
I don't know why that's a hard thing for you.
Why is it? Oh, it's not for you?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No, well, actually, too, because I don't have to go do that anymore. But
it just seems so 20th century. And it's just because the county recorders, for years I researched on how to get a notarized document done online the way you sign stuff on with DocuSign. It's just not going to happen. The whole point to a notarization is you're getting it, like it's 1750 to get somebody to witness, like our whole court system's based on peers and witnesses and testimony.
Yeah.
It's rooted in all that, and there's just nothing you can do.
I hear you. It would be easier. Can you imagine someday? This would be the dream. Someday when we hang up the phone and the seller or the buyer, let me think here, wire transfer the money, the funds easily, which eventually with Venmo and all those things, it's coming, man.
Yeah.
The money part is not the hard part for me to get the money to them. The hard part is them being able to, they have to have a notarized deed. It would be nice if, you're right, a DocuSign deed, I could just email it right over to the seller, have them do it online, and then it's done, because then I can easily record online.
This is what I was thinking. This is a while ago. I'm glad we're talking about this.
Someday.
Why hasn't somebody figured out how to do an online notarization with all the cameras that we have? And I guess it's probably, you could fraudulently.
Like videotape holding up his ID?
Yeah. Take a
Not
snapshot
crazy.
of that. Here's my ID. Or even scan it, and then just watch the guy sign it on the video.
Right. And speaking into it, like, I'm signing this property over to this entity.
And I agree that this is going to happen. And yes, this is really me. Just same thing, same stuff that you do.
That
right
the notary does. You do in front of a notary.
In front of a notary, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would think there's, I don't know, somebody's going to try to abuse it, which is what happens.
It would be you.
No.
It would be you.
I won't say abuse. I'll say test.
You know what would be happening? You'd have a member of our staff holding up like copy and paste your head on their body. I am Stephen Butala. This is me signing. 'Cause I don't want to sign anymore. That's what would happen.
That's exactly. Okay, I'm going to say this on the air. I shouldn't say this.
That's what would happen.
For years, I spent a ton of money. This is a lot of years ago, on a signature stamp of my own signature, because I had people, totally different crew back then, and that's how we would sign deeds.
I didn't hear that.
Yep, I didn't even say that on the air.
So, but you know what? And the thing
one
is,
day, one county assessor somewhere said, county recorder said, this has to stop.
well, here's the whole thing that bothers me. It's not like anybody's pulling a fast one. We're just trying to make it easier.
Right.
No one's doing anything, bad. No one's stealing from somebody or things. Just like, I'm getting tired of signing these things.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. I'm legitimately want to sell all this
signing
stuff.
20 and 30 deeds a day.
Like, oh, okay, fine. Here they come. I remember that. I used to roll your eyes way back when I would walk in with MDU, and you would say, oh, you just kind of roll your eyes. I'm like, okay, sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here.
You know what? I miss those days.
Rolling your eyes at me?
No, when it was just you and I and one assistant, and some virtual assistants. Everything got done so fast and so efficiently. Like, we just finish each other's sentences, Joe. Even now, we're doing 2 deals. When a deal gets above $500,000 net, Jill and I do it ourselves to make sure it gets done correctly. And we handpick we usually have the same notary, same title person do the work. And there's a lot of contact with the seller when the deals are that big. In one particular case, this woman's very emotional. She's owned these properties, their houses that we will turn into subdivisions. Very, very emotional. So Jill's totally holding her hand. It's kind of the house that she grew up in, and in that situation, my whole point is we're getting back to kind of doing that together, which I really think is the root of all of this.
I agree,
and I like it.
Well, you know
I
what?
like working with you.
Well, let me back up too. Let me say this is a perfect topic to make with today's show. Buying the property the same day the seller calls. It's so nice because when they call in, and if you're able to answer the phone, it's you as the owner, you making the transaction, you having that relationship, and then you hang up the phone, and then your team does the rest.
Right.
That's really how this should go. And you hand it over to your team, your assistant who does the deed, your assistant arranges a notary, your assistant goes and gets a cashier's check, your assistant puts it in the mail, your assistant babysits. I mean, that's your end of your responsibility. Because you know what your team can do? They can send it out to them. They could set up the marketing for it. They could post it available. They'll watch it come back in. They'll send it a recording, all that good stuff.
I don't care who you are or how big or small your company is or your entity is. There are a couple things, 2 or 3 things, let's say, that only you can do. That's the reason that you're at the top. Mm-hmm. And that we just identified what they are. For me, it's actually doing the mail, and in these cases, the deals that we're doing right now that are actually processing these subdivisions all the way through.
Right.
I could probably eventually hire somebody out, but I just know what to do, and it's a good use of my time because I know it's going to get done right.
We get a bit faster, I think.
And with you, that Jillification with these sellers and the trust that you establish with them.
Thank you.
It's just, I've never seen anybody else do it like that. I'm sure there's people in our group that have established some version of it, but for whatever reason, it just works for us.
It does. That's true.
And it's fun.
It is. It is
fun to make $500,000 a deal.
It is fun. So that's the goal. Try to, when you have them on the phone, look up the property, be talking to them, have a little bit of a conversation. They're good with that while you're looking up, like, hey, you know what, Mr. Smith, give me that APN again. I'm going to look it up right now. They're ready to do that. When they called you, they're planning on this taking a few minutes.
Right.
So, and man, if you're going to agree to an offer price with them right there too, they love that. They want that. And you want to, now let me add one last final note on this. As they hang up the phone, you need to and want to follow through fast. You don't want them to change their mind, and you don't want them to talk to their wife about it and go, you just did what?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk to their brother-in-law who says, well, heck, I'll give you $200 more than that for it.
Right.
You want to get it all done in the mail on the way and just so easy to them.
Tracking number.
It's tracking that nobody even thinks about it. It's perfect. Thank you.
We're making this sound easier than it actually usually is.
Well, we're talking.
I'm just being really honest.
Big picture about the process.
Yeah.
Right now, and just having that mindset. This is kind of a mindset week.
Yeah, that's right.
So the mindset is this should be your goal.
Staying on track in land investing week.
And this should be your goal. On these calls.
That's right, Joe.
Don't drag them out. Make a decision, by the way. This is another thing, too. Buy the property the same day the seller calls. Should be for you. Make a decision. You know what you want. You know it's a good price. Don't waffle yourself. Don't negotiate with yourself. Just do it. Act on it. Trust that you priced it right when you sent out that mailer, and do it.
I'll add this, too. In the past, not right now, not with the crew we have now, but in the past, I've had people that answer the phone that have an issue with getting a price. So the offers we send out all contain a price. Mm-hmm. The first question, when I used to do it, the first question I would ask is I would say, hey, great, thanks, Mr. Smith, for calling. Does the price in the letter work for you? Mm-hmm. Well, and then I'd interrupt and say, Mr. Smith, this is pretty much how this goes. I can come off of it a little bit, but probably not. So I really don't want to waste your time at all. Whatever you need to do to make a commitment to that price or a price that's really close to that, we can just move forward. Because I've heard people in our office, in your office now, they don't It's just they have some kind of thing about price and talking about money. And some people have that.
Yeah, and that's true. And those people don't answer the phones anymore. Not for the calls.
Like Jill and I went to a car dealer, which I vowed I should never do, but we did it recently. We went to a car dealer and we got all done, and Jill said she closed it. We didn't buy a car because we're not crazy. She closed the door because the salesman said, "Hey, I've got 2 daughters and a wife, and I understand finances and how thin margin." That's just and Jill, what was your? Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Because it made so much sense.
Okay, yeah. So my thing was, if that guy worked for me, I'd have a serious talk with him, because he assumed his finances and his situation were our situation. And it's like, just because what he can afford is certainly not what we can afford. And for some reason, he put that on them. And so my comment was, never put your hang-ups or your situation on the other person, because you don't know what they can afford and what they can't afford.
Right.
And my whole thing is always assume everybody can afford. They wouldn't be calling you if they can't.
Price, yeah, I agree with you.
And don't sit there and waffle. So don't negotiate.
We weren't there. We were not making a decision on price.
No.
It was like the 5th thing down the list, actually.
We could care less about the price. We were there to see about the size. Can I say what it was?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is a whole side thing. So I got a brand new, so flippin' cool.
It all centers around Jill's gifts.
I got a Vespa GTS 300 for my birthday this year. This is just a couple days ago. So now we decide that we need to haul these around, because Steven already has a bike. Now I have mine. So I have my Vespa, so now we're going to haul them around, and it's going to make our trip so much more fun. All we keep saying is, can you imagine if we're out looking on property on our Vespas? I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be so much more fun. So the only truck that we have is a 4Runner. So that's not going to work. Obviously, I don't want to get a trailer. And we found out we can just get an awesome pickup truck.
Yeah.
Haul them right in the back.
And pickup trucks are cheap.
Right. So we go looking at the new Toyota Tundras and what was the other one?
Tacoma.
The Tacoma and the Tundras. And the guy's talking to us like price was the decision. And price isn't the decision. What's the decision? A, will they fit? B, the size of the bed.
Mileage is a
decision.
Fuel efficiency is a big deal.
More importantly, comfort sitting in the cab.
Yeah.
And they're all extended. So I was kind of interested to see how big they are in there, which I was shocked how big they are in those things. It's not like it's a full 4-door event, so it was so flippin' funny. But so that's what we were looking at.
Last pickup truck I was in with you is a 1971 GMC.
Oh.
It had a whole bench seat. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had fun in that for a while.
Yellow.
We didn't own it. We just borrowed it because it's cool.
Yeah. Super cool. Went to breakfast. Our friend let us drive that to breakfast. Thank you, Mark. That was really cool.
My gosh, we went over in time.
We did. That was fun. Anyway,
Well, we've done it again. We spent another 20 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us tomorrow, where we discuss how to establish a daily, consistent content stream.
And we answer your questions posted on landinvestors.com, our online community. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Yeah, what we're going to talk about tomorrow is essentially you need to as a land seller in this day and age. It's not my favorite topic. Establish some type of daily content to put out there. Right. Our most successful members have YouTube channels. I mean, we have chosen podcast as our venue.
Right.
Which, by the way, people ask me all the time, "Oh, you guys are just successful. You're very successful at this real estate thing because of this podcast." And I can't tell you how untrue that is.
No.
I don't think we sell a darn piece of property through this podcast.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know
Maybe
either.
we should. Maybe I should be saying, and today's special is 10 acres.
I think that's the fastest way.
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Fastest way to lose every single one of our listeners.
10 acres is going for $4,999.
Anyway, it's important to pick one venue that you really like, whether it's a blog or Facebook Live or something, and do it.
Share the fun by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you are listening. And while you're at it, please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.